Jesus would talk about the kingdom, and that's why our series is called Here and Now, because when Jesus talked about the kingdom of God, he was talking about the kingdom of God here and now, right? That people can experience his kingdom now. Not when you die, then you'll go to the kingdom of God, right? But he says people now should connect their lives to the kingdom of God. People who don't know Christ should experience and see the kingdom of God here and now. Right? Is this not a reason why there's a big disconnect among many Christians when it comes to their proclamation of faith to how they live out their faith? Christian ako, pero pag makita mo yung buhay, may disconnect. Hindi sila salbahe, pero wala rin masyadong effect yung word ni God sa buhay nila, or the message of the kingdom cannot be seen in their lives. Why is there such a disconnect? How come many churches are growing, but the influence of the church is not growing? Is there a disconnect? And maybe because, just maybe because, but most likely because, the narrative, we always believe, pag sinabi natin kingdom ni God, afterlife. Now, when Jesus talked about the kingdom of God, it's different from how we talk about it now, maybe because we don't have a concept of a kingdom. But when Jesus talked about the kingdom, he was talking about now, ngayon. Ito ang effect ng kingdom ngayon. It changes us. In fact, that's how lives of Christians should be lived. We've now changed our allegiance. In short, when there's a change of who's my boss, it changes everything. When I understand that I worship now the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords, and because of His grace, He has saved me, it should be shown in how we live our lives. The here and now, it starts small. It starts by asking these questions. And then putting your lives aligned because of my allegiance toward this King. Jesus is my Lord. And therefore I live this way. In Matthew 13, verse 24, this is his third parable about the kingdom of God. And again, he was using plants. And now he uses the parable of the wheat and the weeds. Okay. He put another parable before them, saying, the kingdom of heaven may be compared to a man who sowed good seed in his field. But while his men were sleeping, his enemy came and sowed weeds among the wheat and went away. So when the plants came up and bore grain, then the weeds appeared also. And the servants of the master of the house came and said to him, Master, did you not sow good seed in your field? How then does it have weeds? Master, di ba, tinanim mo lang naman wheat, but may weeds. And so the suggestion was, and the master said, an enemy has done this. So the servants said to him, then, do you want us to go and gather them? But he said, no, lest in gathering the weeds, you root up the wheat along with them. They're not yet full grown, so if you take them, baka you might also kill the wheat. Let both grow together until harvest, and at harvest time I will tell the reapers, gather the weeds first and bind them in bundles to be burned, but gather the wheat into my barn. Jesus left the crowds and went into the house, and his disciples came to him saying, Boss, pa-explain naman. Medyo malalim yun, ha? Naiyak ako pero di ko alam bakit. Right? Explain to us the parable of the weeds of the field. I couldn't understand what you were saying. Can you explain to me what that means? Right? All right. He answered, the one who sows the good seed is the Son of Man. It's Jesus. Okay? The field is the world. And the good seed is the sons of the kingdom. Okay? So, there's three. Jesus is the one who sowed the seed. Yung seed na tinapon niya to the ground is the world. And the seeds are who? The sons of the kingdom. Us. Tayo po. The family of God. The church. The weeds are the sons of the evil one. So what was the point of Jesus in the explanation? He was saying, I, or God, has sowed us, the seed, into the world. The purpose of the church, of the citizens of the kingdom of God, we're like seeds that God has sown into. There's life in that seed, and He sows it into the world. Tinatapon niya to the world. Go. Be fruitful. Change the world. That's the picture. In short, all of us will be sown into the world. How good of a seed am I? Okay? So hindi po accident. May assignment tayo. Everybody here who considers yourself a follower of Christ, a Christian, you are part of the kingdom of God. You're sons and daughters of the kingdom. And God takes you out and sows you into the what? Into the world. The field is the world. And the good seed is the sons of the kingdom. Okay. So, we go now to what we call the field. The field is the world. What is the Lord doing? According to this parable, He throws the Christians into the world. And the world is described as a field. Kaya magtanim di biro, di ba? Yun yung kanta. Why? Because the field is what? It's messy, it's dirty, madumi, magulo, maputik. Yan po ang mundo, sabi ni Lord. Handa na ba kayo? We live in a world that needs to be pop. So we will not be so self-centered. Why? We're kingdom people. And He sowed us where? Into the world. Ano sabi ni Lord? Behold, I send you out as sheep among wolves. Therefore, be wise as serpents, and harmless as doves. This is not the field. The field is there. You go there. And ano sabi ni Lord? Dapat alam niyo ang ways of the world. Ha? No, don't live it. Know it. Know how to talk to them. May nakaharap kang mayaman, marunong ka makipag-usap. May nakita kang mahirap, kaya mo ring yakapin at umiyak. Be wise as serpents, but gentle as a sheep. My heart will beat for the kingdom. I will do whatever it takes so I can communicate to all spectrum or to where God plants me. If we speak of positive change, why is the field where it is today? Why is there a disconnect for many? We see positive changes. We see also negative changes. It's the kingdom of God at work. It is also the enemy at work. So why is there a disconnect? Ano sabi sa Bible? Sabi ni Lord, gather the weeds first and bind them in bundles to be burned, but gather the wheat into my barn. Bakit almost the same language, but iba yung spirit? Because the wheat and the weeds look alike. Kaya sabi ni Lord, no, wag mo muna tatanggalin. Magugulon ka. Because they will only come out if they're full grown. The other grows like this, the other grows like this. That's when you know that's a wheat and that's a weed. Okay? So wait till harvest time because they would look identical. They would speak of love, but it's a different love. They would speak of hard work, but the results will be different. They would speak of the same language, but of a different spirit. There should be a distinction between the seeds of the kingdom and the seeds of the devil. And then Jesus said, the harvest is the end of the age. What was the Lord saying? Pag may tinanim ka, may anihin ka. And they will gather out of His kingdom causes of sin and all lawbreakers. He will separate the wheat from the weeds, those who will be part of the kingdom and those who are not. Okay? Not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of heaven, but only he who does, not who knows, who does the will of my Father who is in heaven. scary verse that nobody wants to preach about. Because it talks about the kingdom of God. Not just an intellectual shift, but a holistic shift of how I live out this faith.